Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and today has been hectic. I am truthfully just going to probably power through this because I actually was this close to saying, you know what, it's just not going to happen today. It's okay, it's not going to happen today. It'll be all right if it doesn't happen today, but my hair is all wet. Sorry, I just took a shower because I needed a refresh. I literally rolled out of bed and hit the ground running with mini work crises that just kept going. Got all that done, and another batch. It just one of those days. One of those days. But so I really did think I'm just not going to do it. But then the other half of my brain says, oh, but you've been, it's the 18th, or let's see what. It's the 19th. You've done December and now January. You can do it. You can do it. You can finish it. So I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. I did get some fun stuff. I did get an iPad mini in the mail today. That was exciting, and it was free. And I had forgotten about it. So when the box, the FedEx person rang my doorbell, and I was kind of I picked up, I got the box, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I had no clue what it was because it didn't say there was nothing on it. It was like a random company, but there wasn't anything familiar to it whatsoever. I had no clue what it was. So I opened it up and saw this box, iPad mini, and I was very excited because I had forgotten about it a couple months ago. It was definitely before Christmas, so I'm guessing sometime maybe in November. I had upgraded my internet connection, and they had a special going on, where you get 2 years for half the price and this and that, or whatever. It was like a special deal that they had, and they were giving away the iPad minis. These are iPad mini 2, so these are from, let's say, I want to say it was 2014 or something like that. They're the older model, so they're still the thicker. It's about the same. I have an iPad 2, which would have been from about 2011. It's about the same thickness. It's just smaller, which is wonderful. I do actually really like the size. So I did get that set up before another crisis rolled around, or at least kind of got it set up. So I do at least have, let's see if I can find it. Well, I put it in here. So for example, here is, Holistic Tarot. And it was the last thing I was looking at was that wind about reversals, so that's on there. I actually do like the size. And it doesn't seem very glary too. They may have changed something with the screens because with my bigger iPad, I don't read with it. Number one, it's too large. You can't sit comfortably in bed and hold it even one-handed, so I don't read with it. I have speakers, which you probably see when the camcorder is going that way. Back on the shelf, I have a set of speakers that my iPad sits on, and I pretty much just use it for music because I have a Kindle Paperwhite, and I quite like that for reading because you don't get glare. It's probably the closest eye strain experience to reading a book versus paper. So I generally use that. This actually kind of feels like they might have done something with the reflection because it doesn't seem as glary as my other one. So I'm going to give it a try because, why not? I did put the, let's see what I have on here. I put my Audible app on here, and although I just finished The Witches of Mayfair by Anne Rice. That was interesting. It was very long. I don't mind long books. It was very well read. But there were parts of it that I loved. There's parts where they're just kind of going through this history, and the way they did it, I really loved it. I really just didn't like the parts that were up to date, so to speak, when it got into present action. I still enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as sort of they were kind of did it as if it was a history and they were reading through a document. I actually like that part better. Than I did the other. So, but I finished it. It was very long. And I have another Audible credit, so I have to figure out. There's a second one to it, but it doesn't really appeal to me, so I'm probably not going to get it. Which is unusual because generally if I start a series that I even kind of like, I kind of want to see what happens, but this one doesn't. I don't know. I've read some reviews about it. I don't know. Maybe down the road. Right now I'm just tired of all of them. I am reading the third installment of Deborah. Who is this? It's the All Souls trilogy, which is by Deborah Harkness. Let me see if I can see. I don't want to... About the author. Yes, Deborah Harkness. The first one was Discovery of Witches, which I loved. The second one was Shadow of Night, which was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one. And then a friend of mine had given me an Amazon gift certificate, emailed it to me. I can't remember what, but it was sort of like, it was like, I think when, maybe around the holidays when things were rough with Michael, she's good about that kind of thing. So I think it was that. So I did pick up that. Here, I'll see if I can show you the cover. Praise for the book title page. Doesn't it show you? I mean, this is all nice and pretty. There we go. The Book of Life. So this is the third installment of this. So I'm hoping it goes back to being as good about. It's about a witch and a vampire and some time travel-y stuff and things like that. So I have that in there. The books I have going right now, I am determined, Patrick, to finish I actually really enjoy The Night Circus again. It's just because, by the time I'm going to sleep, I'm either listening. I could always pick that up as an Audible book. We shall see. So I have to look for a new Audible book. Cofen got a new book I think it's called S, and it was worked in collaboration with J.J. Abrams. It looks awesome. I'm waiting to see what she thinks about it after she reads it a little bit, but that's gone on my list once I clear out a couple things. So anyways, that was exciting news, at least to get my iPad mini. I have to get a case on it pronto. My stuff I keep pretty nice. My current iPad looks, almost brand new, except for some of the pixels on the screen have burst. You know how you get those pixels when it's an older screen. And it's definitely starting to slow down. I was really glad this came up because I do like it for music. And now I'm just rambling because I'm feeling quite tired. So, question, do I even have that paper? Question of, to be honest, I don't even see, here it is. I don't even see the paper, and I have no idea what the question is. I did get in the mail today. I'm not going to go over everything because a client turned friend of mine. I met her through doing a client reading with her. But we did some Skype sessions, and one time, one of the Skype, it just didn't work out because I had messed up the date on her birth chart, so we rescheduled again. We just spent that Skype session just chit-chatting and talking about decks and stuff, and so now it's like one of those people you can say, let's get on Skype and ramble about decks. She sent me a couple things, so I got that in the mail today as well. I've already opened it up because I was having such a bad day and things were so chaotic, I just ripped it open. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. But the one thing that I was so excited about, couple of the other things that she sent were just things she just didn't want. And so I can kind of do what I want, add it to my pile of, I'm going to review them and probably move them on, or send them back to her once I see what they are. But the one thing that I really wanted that we traded for, or going to trade for some Lenormand Skype lessons, is this beauty. And so this is the Dame Darcy Mermaid deck. It's very nautical. You can see the back. It's very nautical. It's hand-drawn. It's self-published. I believe you get these on Etsy. It has, here's the Magician. I did put these in order because I will definitely be doing a walkthrough of these. Here's the High Priestess. I'm not going to show a bunch of these. I did want to show, let's see if I can find, here's the hand. It's got sailors, and I I'm a sucker for Navy men. Let's just leave it at that. I'm a sucker for Navy men. And here's a hanged man, a hanged Navy man, which I quite love. But I wanted to show you, I love the moon. The moon card. They are a bit busy in terms of, the sun's not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite. It's got like a little girl mermaid, you know, on a seahorse. Not my favorite, but you know, it's not horrible. But like this, take for instance the Judgment. There's a lot going on. Like the titles are move around to different places. The numbers kind of move around to different places. Sometimes she has dates and signatures just in there. Sometimes I think it's the actual, like here we have, you know, DD 2012, but then if you look at another one, we have, you know, the full Dame Darcy signature down here. So it's definitely has a very busy feel to it, but the person who gifted it to me, and I'm not saying her name because she does have a YouTube name, she doesn't have a channel, but it's her actual name, and so I don't want to say that, obviously. That's not up to me to say to somebody. She gave me a reading with this that I absolutely love. This has been on my list for a long time, since I saw it, when it first got, you know, people were really talking about it. But, you know, just never high enough, I guess, to push something else off. And then she gave me a reading that I just loved. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put that on my list for this year, because this year I'm kind of looking at, you know, kind of month by month. I'm trying to do one a month kind of thing, where I'm kind of knocking out some more self-published decks that do cost a little bit more. And so I thought, okay, this is one I'll knock out as well. And she said, so she had messaged me, you know, would I want to trade it for some Lenormand lessons on Skype. So would I like to play with somebody that I enjoy talking with, but talking to them with Lenormand, and get a Dame Darcy deck in exchange? Sure, sign me up. Look at him. Look at how, like, oh, he looked. They have a very, I don't know, I'm bad with dates, like 20s, 30s kind of feel to them. I love the Six of Swords. I know I said I wasn't, you know, I don't know why I say it, because every time I say, I'm going to be really fast because I'm really tired, but then I get excited when I start talking, and then it ends up being a lot longer. So, but what I wanted to show you was, because I do where did it go? 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords. I'm not fond of the Knight of Swords. Some of the artwork has a even more simplisticness to it. So it's not my favorite, but it's not horrible whatsoever. I'm going to obviously be doing a walkthrough of this. I'm also very obviously, see how vintage and yellow and aged it looks, but then you have those bright white sides that cannot stay. That's going to be going antique linen very quickly. But look at the Queen of Swords. I love the Queen of Swords, and I love the King of Swords, because I told you I love Navy men. Look at that. That's the King of Swords. So yeah, I will be doing a walkthrough of this. I have so many things to do walkthroughs of. This will be because I have it put in order. I find putting decks in order to be very relaxing, and so sitting down and putting this in order in the middle of a kind of just not great day was quite relaxing for me, and kind of helped. But I don't want to keep it this way, so I will be walking through it quickly so I can take it back out of order. She also gave me a couple very strange Zodiac Tarot. Yeah, that is a very strange deck. It has like a submarine as the devil, or as the death card, but it looks like the torpedo's passing it. It has airplanes and tanks, and it's very strange. Very strange. I can see why she didn't want to hold on to that one. She also sent me another Pixie's Astounding because she didn't like it, which is so sad. I love it. She knew I already had one, but she's like, maybe you can use it for like a giveaway for your Lenormand class or something like that. So she sent me that. And then she sent me this Dynamic Spreads deck. I don't know anything about this. I have nothing to say about it. I don't think it's probably something I will keep, because I don't think I would ever go through all the trouble of doing this or using it, although I've heard they're really cool. So I will at least go through it and, you know, maybe do a review of it before I pass it on, or send it back to her, whatever ends up happening with that. Like I said, she just kind of randomly put some things in. She did put in a pile of Lenormand size, kind of matte finished cards. There's a little bit of a coating on it, but nothing much whatsoever, in order to make my own deck. Now, you know, there's nothing that can beat my, look, I don't have this because I did a reading last night. Yeah, nothing can beat this. Certainly nothing I can draw can beat this. I was thinking about, you know, there's a couple little things that I would like to do. Like I would like to have a chakra deck. So that's something I could even paint or collage on and then put a backing on, like Quilfin has a video about like using contact paper and stuff. So I am thinking, I have a couple ideas what I might do with this nice big stack of cards. So she sent me that, which was really cool. I didn't know what it was going to be in here. And the other thing that she sent me, which I'm kind of surprised about, because the only way I've ever heard of this is because she told me she was so excited about having gotten it, which was the Beast of Albion by Miranda Gray. This is a Using Ancient British Animal Guides for Self-Development Oracle deck. It has quite a meaty book. I don't know anything about this. Again, I am not going to, I'll do a walkthrough of it. It seems very similar to like the Druid Animal Oracle, but this is the backing, and then the front. I don't know what a Brock is. We have something that looks like that, but I can't remember what it's called. It's not a Brock here. We have bees, beautiful wren. So it's got a very, I think she got it because she thought the patterning would go well with the Dreaming Way Tarot. We have the bat, a rooster, a little mouse. So I don't know. Like I said, I love the backs of it though. I don't know anything about this deck. I haven't, other than, I just had saw it when she said she had gotten it. But like I said, it's got quite a meaty deck book to it. So I'm going to have to, give it lots, looks like quite a lot of information in the book. So I will have to put this in the list for reviewing, before I make any judgment on my growing, like I'm getting a purging pile going here of things, or send back to her if she changes her mind. But, so yeah, so that was fun. But this, here's the Fool. Not my favorite Fool ever, but she's diving in. I quite like that. I don't like jester hats, but that's kind of common on Fool cards. And the ha 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 is kind of funny, but it's got a lightness to the deck, but not, not always entirely either. So I do like that she's just diving off the cliff. I do like that aspect. Here's the star, but I'm not going to start doing that again because I'll start showing you a bunch of decks. Well, this one I'm so excited about. Well worthy to trade some Lenormand lessons for that. Very excited. Check that off my list. Okay. I do need to get moving because my brain is tired. Do you feel, the question for today is, do you feel a connection, it's in quotations, do you feel connection to your cards? Yes. Yes. I don't know. Yes. Yes. I don't know what else to say. I do. If a deck clicks, so to speak, I feel very connected to certain decks. I don't think of decks personally as having a power in and of themselves. For me, tarot, oracle, any kind of deck is a tool. I believe in treating it well. You've all seen how my decks are either in their boxes neatly put somewhere, or they are flat out with a special stone, whatever stone feels right to put on it. I will probably put a shell on this one that I have from, I think Boho Gypsy, when she sent me that box of things, there was a shell on that I really liked the feel of. I think I'll probably put that on this. So, yes, I mean, I do believe in treating them respectfully because it starts to, I think, imbue my energy, the energy of the stone, like that kind of thing. We get like a working relationship and things like that. So I treat my decks very respectfully, but I still do think of them as tools. But as such, I do get, just like any other tools, like I have, not this particular one, but like my phone is, I love my phone, and I love my computers, my MacBook that I've had for quite some time, even though it's kind of on its last leg. I still love it. Like I do get attached to things. I don't have too much of an issue. I'm one that will name her car. My car's name is Serenity. So I do have, I do have attachment to objects, but so yes, when something works right, when a deck is right for me, I do form connections with my decks. And so there are certain decks that I would never get, like my Shadowscapes. Even if I stop using that, because I don't really use it all that much anymore. Again, it's kind of, I think, moved to being my personal deck because I've got so much grief work in with it. So it's kind of shifted into being a personal deck. But even if I never pick up the Shadowscape deck to use again, that's not a deck I will give away because it's, I just do have a strong connection to it. Other decks that I like, but I don't, is like, for example, the Steampunk Tarot. The Steampunk Tarot is one that's possibly going into my purge list. I like the deck. I like the images. I really do. And some of the cards I really, really like. But I've never really felt connected with it in terms of reading with it. And so if I'm not going to read with a deck like that, it really probably needs to move on to somebody else that it will. So yeah, some things, and it's interesting to think about what makes us connect with a deck and what makes us not. Because there are some decks that like really should tick all the boxes, but they just, for whatever reason, just in terms of using them, it doesn't. There's not, that connection is missing. And so no matter how much I might like it, the connection isn't there, and so I might as well move it to somebody whose the connection is there. Other decks, like, look at that card, the Bohemian Gothic Tarot. It's like an instant connection. This was definitely one of those instant connection. Even the Rackham Oracle, although I will say it helps, like I probably will continue to make those kind of like at least 1 hour, I just kind of do quick readings for people with the new decks, because I've actually found that to be a great way to break in a deck. So I'll probably have to do that with, there were some questions that I didn't get around to with the Bohemian Gothic that I probably will finish up with the, I still have the questions and things, so I still have a little pile of those that I just didn't get time for. I couldn't do three hours worth like I did with the Angel Tarot, but I probably will give it a try with break in this one just to see how this one reads. So that kind of speeds up the process when I like kind of do a crash thing of reading. But this one, just going through the Fountain Tarot, same thing. That deck, the walkthrough was instant connection. Made me cry, I think, a couple of times. I love that deck, and I still love that deck, and I would never get rid of that deck. And it is still my top #1 deck that somebody said the other day, well, if there was a fire and you could only grab, like, why do people have to come up with these horrible situations in which we must take one deck? Like, why? What do you want to do that for? No, I don't want to take just one deck. I don't want there to be a fire, and I don't want all my other decks being burnt up in the fire. So please stop with these horrifying whatever. We don't need these hypothetical situations. That's what I was trying to think of. But still, if that hypothetical situation did occur, I would grab the Fountain Tarot first. Although I would grab that whole shelf because it's all right there. I would just like there's a kind of a box underneath it. I would probably pull that out, just scrape everything in that one, because that's got all my like main working decks. So I would probably scrape all those in just as fast as grabbing one deck. So anyway, that's probably going to happen. But yeah, so there are certain decks that just like this one, like the Fountain Tarot, this certainly the Bohemian Gothic. It was just that instant, made me laugh. We had powerful impact and only growing. Like somebody said, I'm so sorry when I don't remember people's names, but somebody had said, that the book that the justice was holding was the book that they would use to try to find out whether somebody was a witch or not. And that has just opened up so many layers for this card, because this has shown up in a couple client readings. So yeah, this is one that had an instant connection, and the connection just is like keeps growing the more that I use it. So some are like that, and some it's more of a slow process. But end up being very, a very deeply connecting decks. And then, like I said, other decks that by all intents and purposes I should love. Like, I like the artwork, I like this, I like the borders aren't too bad, the backing's nice, like everything about it is good, but for whatever reason it just doesn't, have that whatever, that star factor. So yes, I do connect to my decks, and I like the conversation around, what are decks for you? Maybe put that in the comment box. Like, what's a deck for you that everything should have worked? Like, it should have been a deck that you really liked, and then it just completely fell flat for you, even though you like everything about it, but it just doesn't do it for you. So yeah, put those in the comments. I would be interested to see those. For me right now, because I've been kind of thinking about my decks, I haven't sat down and actually done a deck purging, which I need to do because I have one person who's willing to trade for the Bonefire Tarot, which I want desperately. But I think she wanted the Green Witch, and then somebody else wanted the Steampunk Tarot, but I haven't decided about them. So I really do need to sit down and kind of literally pull out what I know I'm going to get rid of, or I think I'm going to get rid of. Like, I need to do that physically because I'm just feeling like it. We're in January. I want it done by January, so everything is just fresh. Everything that's in my shelves are things that I want to have there. I'm just that kind of a January person, so I need to do that. But there you have it. That's the answer to that. That's an order. I don't want to use that. I cannot use that because that is an order, for sure. Well, let's just go behind me. See, I put a lot of things in order that I need to go through and do walkthroughs of before I sort them out. Like the Lay Vampires is in, I have a couple Jasmine Beckett Griffith decks that were in that purging of somebody else. It's like, okay, take what you want and then send them on, which I'm going to do, but I want to do, there's no point, I have them in my possession. I'm going to do walkthroughs with them. So but there's only so much time in the day. Yeah, those are already put in order. Okay, all right, you know what? Why fight it? Just use the Rackham. I love it. We can have the Rackham multiple times in the day or in the month because it's an amazing deck. So I've gotten a lot of use actually out of the Bohemian Gothic and the Rackham together. And like I said yesterday, I think, I hadn't really, it wasn't in my head when I first saw them like, oh, these are going to be perfect together. It's just more, it's worked out that way because I was working on both of them at the same time. They came in the same day, but they actually do read really well together. So they've kind of formed a friendship sitting right here over on my table. These are actually quite shuffled well because I went through and reshuffled all my deck or my table decks. Okay, so let's see what and look at. I think, did we get this? I can't remember. But I love this card. This one has actually shown up quite a bit. This is the Madrugada, which is, if I remember correctly, this is a Portuguese word. And it means the time between midnight and dawn. And the little you know, saying underneath it is it's the doorway to dream time. I just love this card because she's in that liminal space, that fairy space of falling asleep under a tree. Has she been sleeping here 1,000 years? You know, has she been in fairy and she's now going to wake up like, you know, Thomas the Rhymer, and she's going to wake up and find herself, or many other people, and find themselves, you know, 1,000 years have gone by and everybody that she's known is dead, and she has to start her life all over again. And like Thomas the Rhymer can't tell a lie. Like there's so many things that you can kind of question here. But I think the actually artwork, sorry, just trying to zoom in on my face. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. The idea of liminal space, I need to do a whole video on liminal space because I think it shows up a lot in tarot. In fact, I'm going to look at what I'm going to do because I'm trying to do this better. I'm going to write it down because I need to do a video on reversals, and I want to do a video on liminal spaces in tarot cards because there are so many ways in which there are liminal spaces, which is that kind of those crossing over points, you know, between water. Like if you think about the Druid craft, I think it's the Wheel of Fortune card, or it's the wheel card. It's her casting a wheel, but she's right on a bunch of liminal, like the sand and the water and the shore, the sandy beach and the cliffs, you know, that kind of thing. There's like, they're edges, and there's a lot of power in folklore and things around liminal spaces. It's something I wrote a lot about in literature, and I definitely pick up on them a lot in tarot cards, and so I think that would be actually really interesting for me. And I pretty much just do videos that interest me and hope that somebody else gets interested. But where did I put that card? Oh no. Oh, here it is. But there's just something magical about that. And I think that January is a liminal time as well, because it is, December is as well, but January is that, you know, we're right crossing into the new year. We're right, you know, the old year is past and the new year is in front of us. And so it is a kind of a liminal space and a space to dream and to make our dreams and start to dream our dreams. That showed up a lot. You know, I actually was able to do a few of the year ahead spreads for clients, which I really loved. I didn't know, like, if anybody would actually, you know, purchase those or want those. And I actually really enjoyed doing them for other people. I did video ones so I could kind of walk through it. And I actually really enjoyed it. And I found that January energy was very much like this, very much that feeling of in between, that sort of setting up for then what the months started to build off of that. But that January energy is showing up as quite powerful liminal space to sort of dream, have that, what are you going to dream in January, and then the year starts kicking in, and okay, now we're going to start fulfilling that. But January, often the energy for January was showing up for people in the concept of a liminal space as a time to dream, kind of set in your mind what it is that you want, and then move into the year to actually start to manifest it. I know we just had a conversation about the word, but it works for this. So yeah, so I think that's a great card to show up. You know, we still have a little time left in January to purge our tarot decks and really think about, really dream what we see for ourselves in this year, so that we can then start to shift our energies in that direction. So there you have it, another 30-minute video when I thought it was going to be short. So have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.